This is one I wrote, one I love, where every week I will read you a poem that I wrote and a poem that I love. And this week I am going to read a poem from Lobster about my cousin Tracy. I feel like there's not enough love poetry about cousins around, so I thought I'd try and fill that gap. But I thought I'd read this because she just texted me, so I thought that was a good sign when I was trying to decide what poem to choose. It's from the section in Lobster about people. It's called People, the section about all stereotypes that you have for people and stuff. But this is just a poem because I think Tracy's brilliant. And she's one of those people that like does everything, like organises everything, like all the parties and all the celebrations and all the like just everything, like school fates, all that kind of stuff that a lot of people, you just sort of see it happening and just think it happens. But there's like people like Tracy just doing loads of work, and I don't think it's easy. So yeah, this is a thank you to my lovely cousin Tracy. And this poem is called Is People Like You, Tracy. So I hope you've all got Tracy in your life. If it's actually my cousin Tracy, then great. Even better. It's people like you, Tracy, who make it all happen. Bring out the decorations, pin up the paper chains, lick stamps to letters and actually post them. Wrap ribbons around gifts, hang fairy lights measured in sections from fences, fill pumpkins with sweeties and chocolates for the days when small monsters and witches and goblins stand smiling at doorsteps. People like you, Tracy, who fill bowls with crisps and keep on refilling. Whose fridge is full of diluting juice, already diluted, just waiting in jugs as if water were born fully dressed. Like you, Tracy, who runs school fetes and street fairs, get funding for playground repairs and end-of-term discos, put Christmas trees up in your living room window meticulously covered in tinsel and slaloming Santas to turn cold winter streets into glittering galleries. Without people like you, there'd be no family gatherings, no point trick-or-treating, no birthday cards landing on doormats, no children's first discos, no end-of-year proms, no plates full of cakes on arrival, no magic diluting juice ready and cool to grab when you're suddenly parched. People like you, who stage celebrations, make children believe their teeth are worth gold and the elves might cause havoc. Seasons don't just greet themselves. There are people like Tracy, hidden and humble, exhausted, all over this earth, pulling the rigging, building the sets, setting the spotlight, seating the guests, clearing the stage when curtains are drawn, and we are all partied out from the music and feasts as people like Tracy refill the jug with the perfect amounts of water and sweetness, as if it's always just there in the fridge. So yeah, thanks to my lovely cousin. And now I'll read one that I love, which is not a poem about my cousin Tracy, unfortunately, although if anyone wants to write them, you're very welcome. So this is from My Darling from the Lions by Rachel Long, which I think is I think it's a brilliant poetry collection, but I think all of them are, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't read out, because I'm not in the habit of being like, here's a poem that I think is crap. So yeah, I really like this one. It's on page 23 of My Darling from the Lions, and it's called Portent. I really like the first line of this. It pulled me into the poem. I'm not someone that reads poetry books normally cover to cover, so I sort of flick past and, to be honest, choose the short poems first, and then the ones with the titles that attract me, which maybe means I'm not a proper poetry person, but that is okay. Portent. I feel middle class when I'm in love. I think it's all the poached eggs on birdseed bread, staying up all night on Zoopla. Imagine walking under cottage beams, the laughter in a garden. Kids, a little boy with gold hair keeps standing in my dreams. I read somewhere that it takes 300 years, about 13 generations, to change your social class. I think about this whilst having a fag I'm quitting. Head against the doorbell is broken, but sometimes, after my love has left for work, after his handheld shower and a pee in the gaffer-taped loo, I hear it ringing and ringing. amazing. So that was one I wrote, called It's People Like You, Tracy, or, you know, fill in with whoever's name it's about for you. And then Portent by Rachel Long in her book My Darling from the Lions. So yeah, enjoy your week, read some poetry. Bye. Whose fridge is full of diluting juice, already diluted. That's the Scottish, just for anyone who's English. Diluting juice is squash. Diluting juice, already diluted. I think I've interrupted the poem now, talking about diluting juice. It wasn't the most important thing to tell you, so I'm gonna start again.